Barry Blue, United States Marine Corps, Vietnam. Barry is one of my many Texas veterans. I was in Brenham, Texas twice, 2010. It was February 11th, 2010. I was there and I met Barry and a lot of other veterans in that area, and they're all featured in the film. Actually, my 11th film features the stories that I recorded in Brenham, Texas. It's called Lest They Be Forgotten, Texas. Barry served in the Marine Corps, gung-ho. He's still with us today, folks. He enlisted in 1967. March 14th, 1968, he was in boot camp and he went to Vietnam. He served with the 1st Marine Division, 5th Marines Hotel Company, the 0311 infantryman. So Barry has a great story to tell, and I'm just thankful for the ability to share his story with everybody. I'd like to thank Stephen Eicherman for making it possible for you to hear Barry Blue's story today. Stephen, I want to thank you. God bless you. Thank you for your patriotism, your commitment to our veterans, and helping me to get these stories out there. It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to these veterans, their families, and our younger generation. Thank you very much, Stephen. If you'd like to sponsor one of these stories, folks, please, there's information in the video description and on my website, larrycappetto.com. Sponsor a vet. Click on the link, look at the pictures of the veterans, decide who you like to sponsor, include their name in the sponsorship. That's all there is to it, and take ownership and connect with these veterans. A lot of you have done that. I know a lot of you want to do that. If you'd like to just donate to my work, you can do so by the comment section of the video. History is best learned from those who are there. I've spoken to 100,000 students across our country in 100 schools in the last 20 yeyears. I want to keep doing it. We need to get this awareness out there with our younger generation who have no idea, for the most part, why they're free. You ask them what freedom means, they give you a tilt stare. They tilt their heads and blank stare because they don't really know, because they were born in a free country. If we don't teach them, how are they going to learn? History is best learned from those who were there. These stories have within them the ability to teach them, and I hope and pray that we can somehow get them into schools. I got another important announcement. I'll wait till my next interview, but thank you for watching, subscribing to this channel. I'm sorry it went a little bit longer today, but I wanted to acknowledge a few comments as we go forward with this, and share these videos, like I said, folks, and I'll be talking to you again. Thank you, and God bless you.
I'll be 61 in May of this year.
So you're 60 right now. So
Yeah.
let's don't push that 61. So
Okay, I'm 60.
We'll leave you at 60. And tell me what year you went into the Marines.
Went into a delayed entry program in late 67, but it was 3 of us from Brenham. We went into Marine Corps boot camp, arrived in San Diego March 14, 68.
You were drafted?
No, we joined.
You joined?
Yeah.
Why did you join the Marines?
Well, we went to, actually, for the physical, and we were going in the Navy, and I didn't pass the hearing test. So we went over to the Marine recruiter, no problem.
How old were you then, about 17?
Probably, I guess, probably had to be like 18 and a half, 19, something like that.
Did you know what you're in for?
Not really.
Yeah. Tell me about your first day at boot camp. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was, we got off of course, arrived in San Diego, and the DI met us over on the curve, real friendly and everything, and got on the bus, and then unfortunately his attitude changed. We were looking outside the windows and stuff, and he had a few things to say about keeping our eyes straight ahead. So we arrived over in San Diego, and it kind of just went downhill. You know, closed distribution, and everything was 100 miles an hour.
Tell me about putting your feet on those yellow.
Footprint, yeah.
Yeah, that's a memory people.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was footprint. So yeah, that didn't go real good. We got out there and had a lock for our lock boxes and went ahead and had a combination for it, and it didn't, mine wouldn't open up, and I knew it was a faulty lock, so I took the little yellow tab in the lock up to the DI, which was about 6'7", and he just put the tab in front of his little finger, looking at it and turning the probably the master combination padlock, and I could hear him clicking the lock. And when he turned the last rotation, he looked at me. I was just looking straight, and I was saying, "Please don't open." And he just took it, and it clicked open. And he pretty much took it, lock in his hand, created a fist, and laid me out on the ground, threw the lock down there, and I got back in line.
What did you know about Vietnam before you went into the Marine Corps?
It's just a war had been going on for, probably 3 or 4 years or more. And pretty much it's, a lot of people getting lost and everything. So
were you scared at that point in your life, or was it like I'm invincible?
Yeah, well, kind of through boot camp, you made it through that, and then you felt pretty good about that and came home for your 30 days leave, and then we went back to Camp Pendleton for additional training before we went out. I think we went through Anchorage, Alaska, and then we went through Japan and stopped in Okinawa. That's where, as far as I know, most of us stopped at before we went to Vietnam. But you really, after I got off the plane, went to 1st Marine Division Rear and in Da Nang there, and they asked me who I went to go with, 5th Marines or 7th Marines. I just said 5th Marines sounded good to me, So that's where I was sent down at the time. 5th Marines were based out of An Hoa, Vietnam, which is about 25 miles southwest of Da Nang.
So what's your MOS? I mean, every Marine's a rifleman.
Yeah.
What's your specialty?
Yeah, no, it was 0311.
Are you?
Grunt,
Okay.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Tell me, I've asked other Vietnam vets this, and, how did you get the name Grunt?
Well, that was just something, ground pounder, anything in the infantry. That's just a general term that's used for the Marines.
You know what I heard?
Time.
Want to hear my definition? It's the sound you make when you jump out of a helicopter.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Grunt. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's a long story behind that.
One of those things, man. But okay, so you go to Vietnam, and tell me when you first got in country, what you remember seeing, smelling. What was it like when you first got?
The first involvement, getting checked in 1st Marine Division Rear in Da Nang, and we finally got assigned. Like I said, I got assigned to the 5th Marines down in An Hoa, which I was with Hotel Company, and we took a convoy down there. I remember that for a simple reason is we stopped about halfway down. There's a place called Liberty Bridge or Fulak 6 that you have to cross the river. And when we got on the south side of the river, that's pretty much when it hit home, where I was at, because there was like, they had evidently had a firefight or something within the last couple of days, because there was like 5 or 6 Viet Cong laid out on the ground, and there I was on the convoy truck going down there looking at that and thinking, well, this is for real now,
Mm-hmm. So you're fighting the Viet Cong, the VC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they were the guys supposedly in the black pajamas, and you didn't know.
Yeah, well, it's if you saw them
during the day, and
yeah, that's pretty much if you saw them. I mean, we ran pretty much operations when I was there. Like I said, pretty much around the An Hoa area, and some of the nicknames that everybody has in Vietnam, whether it's Army or Marines, but we ran operations in Happy Valley, the Arizona Territory, and areas like that, usually within a radius around the An Hoa combat base.
You're there a year?
Yeah, I was there October, when I came in the country, August 1868. Then a friend of mine, one of the 3 that came over there, his name was Gary Hornico. Unfortunately, he got hit October 3rd, 68. He was pretty much right on top of a booby trap. When it went off, he got tore up pretty bad. And we were in a bad booby trap area. And of course, he went ahead and they medevaced him to Da Nang. And little did I know, 2 days later, I got taken out by a booby trap on October 5th, 68. And like I said, little did I know that I was going to see him 2 days later. He was still in NSA, which is Naval Support Activities, NSA Hospital in Da Nang. And they finally shipped him out. And then I laid there in Da Nang all for probably a week or so. And they put us on a medevac plane. We dropped some Marines off in Yokosuka, Japan, and they dropped me off in Guam. So I stayed in the hospital in Guam at the Naval Hospital for October, November through December, and then I pretty much recuperated. And then I flew back to Okinawa, where we staged at when we went over originally. And so I thought I was going to get a medical discharge, but when they posted the orders up on the CARC board, well, I had orders to go back to Vietnam. So I flew back in, I think like January 1st of '69, went back over to 1st Marine Division rear. And they asked me who you want to go with, and I says, well, 7th Marines or 5th Marines, or do you want to go up north to 3rd Marine Division up in Quang Tri? I said, no. I says, just go ahead and send me back down to Hotel Company, 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines, in case I should know a bunch of people. And so that's where I stayed over in Da Nang at 1st Marine Division rear, and then probably a couple of days get checked in and stuff, and I flew back down to Vietnam. Back down to An Hoa, went back with Hotel 25.
So you were wanting to go home, you think? After
well, I thought I was going to get a medical discharge, but it's kind of funny. He had one guy that just he got shot in his left heel, took out a little chunk of meat, maybe a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, and of course that's on his foot, and he pretty much got a medical discharge. So I thought I was going to get a medical discharge, but no, I went back over to Vietnam.
So what a transition though, from boot camp, the regiment, the discipline, the pride of graduating and looking sharp and all that, and you find yourself in Vietnam and you're probably dirty, you're tired, you're getting shot at. That's a whole different world, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like I said, you're like many stories. You're out in the bush and you're running operations, and sometimes you stay out there for a month or so. You come in, maybe get a hot meal, maybe take a shower, but anybody in the bush can tell you, your boots stayed on 100% of the time, and you didn't change any clothes or anything. You just anything you do like in jungle warfare or any kind of war. And it's at the time I was probably 135, 140 pounds, and didn't make any difference. You still carried a 60+ pound pack, just like any bigger guy, and it was pretty much of a strain for me, like anybody else that's on the smaller size.
Now, you were there from August to October. You got wounded and you came back, did you say January?
Yeah, about January 1st, I think I flew back in.
So tell me about maybe the toughest engagement you had in combat over there. Where were you and what was going on?
Probably one of the worst ones was right when I came back in January '69. The 5th Marines and 7th Marines were in Operation Taylor Common up in the Quezon Mountains by the Laotian border, I think it was. And we had to hump up the mountain and engaged a heavy reinforced NVA force up there because they were using it to run materials and stuff down there. And they were set up in bunkers with 50 calibers, and we lost quite a few guys in that Operation Taylor Common. But that was one of them that sticks out. And you have firefights, but that one was a tough one where we were pretty much pinned down, and they tried to get air support, called in close, without getting hit ourselves. So that's probably one of the worst operations we were on, Taylor Common.
Mm-hmm. Did you lose friends during the Vietnam that were wounded or killed?
Yeah, I had a friend of mine. I just found his name on the internet. Of course, a lot of other people, but this one sticks out. This Marine sticks out because that morning we were actually running tank security east of Liberty Bridge in a dry river bed, running security for tanks. And we had just had breakfast that morning. His parents had sent him some cereal, and they sent him condensed milk, something like Carnation milk, something like that doesn't spoil. Just had breakfast with him that morning. And so we got ready to move out to run security for the tanks, going westbound into Liberty Bridge or Phu Loc 6. And he got in front of me, probably 8 or 10 people, and the next thing I know, there was a big, massive explosion. Sand from the dry riverbed just all over the place, and so we didn't know who it was. We got down, and the tank started working out, with the machine guns, and everybody was laying down some fire because we didn't know if it was an attack or if it was just a booby trap. Well, probably 30 minutes later, we got together, continued the security for the tanks, and lo and behold, I walk by, and there he's laying, no legs, one arm, eyes wide open, just staring up at the sky. Pretty much went off the deep end. And like I said, it wasn't more than about 30 or 45 minutes earlier. I just had breakfast with him, And there's many other occasions during firefights, and stuff you had people hit, but that particular incident, that was like February, I think I pulled it off the internet, February 23rd of 69, that particular incident happened.
And you found his name on the internet, you said?
Yeah, yeah.
What's the guy's name?
It's William Satterfield.
Okay. His name's
Yeah.
on the wall then, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure of the exact date. Somewhere in some of my military stuff, I have like a little obituary that we had, the funeral that we had, or sermons, or stuff we had in Anwar in the rear when we came in. But yeah, it was February 23rd, I think.
It's coming up in a couple weeks, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Who's the gentleman in the pictures you saw me? Who was that was killed? The pictures were scanning?
Yeah, that was another Marine from Brenham. It was kind of 5 of us that got together and went in the Marines. The other 2, Larry Andres and Larry Wessinger, went into the Marines probably about 4 months before the group of us 3, me, Gary Hornico, and Dennis Hines. And Larry Wessinger was up in I Corps up in Quang Tri with 3rd Marine Division. He was with Golf Company, 2nd Battalion, 9th Marines, and I think around in February 29th or something of 69, a sniper got him. So he's the one that's in the pictures with the funeral in the Marines. Those pictures are taken over at the Catholic Church here in Brenham, and
Sniper, you said?
Yes, a sniper got him. Yeah.
You weren't there though.
Oh no, no. I was back in Vietnam the second time. And, I didn't hear about it until, probably the funeral was already over, but they wouldn't let me go for the funeral anyway. So, but the one Marine that's in the picture, Dennis Hines, that me, Gary Hornico, and Dennis Hines went through boot camp together, he was, at the time, he was stationed stateside over in Albany, Georgia. So he was allowed to come to be one of the pallbearers.
Wow. You guys are young.
Yeah, like I said, like most of us, probably about 19 or 20.
So what's your rank at this time over in Vietnam? First class?
No, I think I came out as an E4 corporal, but could have been a lance corporal, early in January '69, but I was E4.
Did you have a squad over there, man? Or
Yeah, I was a squad leader, yeah.
Did you ever walk point?
Yep.
Tell me about that, how dangerous that is and what you encountered, maybe
Yeah.
others that you were with.
Well, it's point, I tried to train a couple of, couldn't say younger guys, but, 6 or 8 months to walk point after I had been doing it for a while, but it just seemed like they wanted to walk a little bit faster than you need to be. But walking point is the point man is very seldom survives. It's just that you've got to be aware of your surroundings, stop, pretty much, look around, see if you see any tips in the grass or in the jungle, bamboo, 3 bamboos in a row, or cut bamboo to give away, if there's any booby traps that hit you, was the biggest problem, and of course not leading your squad or your company into an ambush. Sure. And a lot of times we use dogs with us too, to run with the point man, but point men don't have a very long life. Yeah.
And are you appointed to that, or you rotate through that, or how does the bad guy get that? I mean,
no, it's just some, you're asked if you want to walk it, or it's not something you really get appointed to. But I mean, if it's not something you want to do, but I mean, it just has to be done.
And if there's any movement, anything happening, that guy knows it.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing, like I said, point man, he's you got flank security on your left and right, but it's just something you've got to take it real easy. It's something you can't rush.
And you radio back if there's anything? Is that you got a radio?
Yeah, you have a radio man behind you. Yeah, but like I said, it's just, I mean, as long as you in jungle warfare, you try to stay spaced, pretty much at least 10 or 15 feet apart or more, but remain with eye contact, especially in the jungle. But sometimes that doesn't work because it's so thick.
Do these memories seem like over 40 years ago or like yesterday for you?
Yeah, no, you remember some of it, but faces and names fade away, pretty easy.
So tell me more now. You're fighting the VC, or you came across an NVA regiment. You said at one time.
Yeah.
A bad one, but how close did you get to the enemy yourself personally? As close as we are, or were they always far away in the distance?
Most firefights, like anybody tell you, you didn't hardly see nothing. They're in spider traps or anywhere else. But probably the closest I ever got was about from me to you. The second time I got hit, it was just run a lot of LP listening posts at night, and I was a squad leader, and I think we were at the river. I can't remember the name of it, on the north side of Anwa. I was running a night ambush with the squad. It was just 7 of us, and we were on the north side of the river, looking south. The river was in front of us, and there was a trail there. We had been running operations during the daytime in some villages around there, and it was a pretty good, you had a pretty good idea that there was some enemy activity in the area, because of course each hut over there, they had their own little bunker they would hide in, during firefights or to get away from artillery. And it was a couple of them we went into. It was just where the Vietnamese they had put like a candle into the opening. Well, that's kind of, they're letting the VC or NVA know, they can look down the shaft probably from the inside and see the flickering candle, which is probably telling them that, you've got Marines or their enemy, us, out there. So we went out and made a decision to run an ambush during the night. That was April 1669. And we were just probably no more than about 10 or 15 feet from the trail, which was running east and west, the best I can remember. And the NVA, you'd have groups of 3 or 4 leaving the village, 5 or 6. I was radioing back. I said, there's all kind of activity out here. I says, the next group that comes out here, we're going to engage them. So we just let we just let the hotel company rear know that. And it was kind of a bad choice, because the next group that came out there, it was just a whole line of them. We estimated to be about 30 of them. So we went ahead and ambushed them. And normally, in most cases, you ambush them and you're out of there. Well, the lieutenant wanted us to go ahead and search through the ambush site, and like I said, this was like 10:30 at night, which you don't do, to see how many KIAs we had, any materials, any weapons. So we went through there and had one that tried to get away, and going back into the village. Well, when he went to the tree line, that was pretty much where I stopped, and trying to get him. And he was already wounded, and that's the only reason I heard him, because he had moaned. And looked to my right, and all I saw was 2 flashes from about 4 foot away, and caught me on the left side of my stomach, and knocked me down. Well, I just unloaded my 20-round clip at the time, so I was pretty much laying on the ground, and I reached underneath my flak jacket on the left side, came out with a handful of blood, and I says, man, this ain't good, because it was probably a whole NVA company. They were going through like a freight train. I mean, they're just all over the place. So our best bet was we had to get together like right now and get out of there. So I realized I was wounded, but I wasn't in real bad shape. So I got up and got everything together, and we got out of there. And the next day we came back through there, and come to find out, we saw the sandals all through the dirt and sand. That what they try to do is get behind us and pin us between them and the river, and that would have been it, because there was only 7 of us. But I mean, like I said, I saw two flashes from the AK-47, and I had which I don't have with me, but I had a Kodak Brownie camera, wrapped up in the plastic that the gas masks used to come in, which we never used them, to keep it watertight with a rubber band around it. And it went through the viewfinder of the Brownie camera, which it didn't deflect it, but it was so close. Yeah, he was so close that I got powder burns up on it because it came in at an angle, like a 45-degree angle on my flak jacket. So that after that one, that was pretty much it. I went on with operations for about another, that says April, May, June, for a couple of more months, I guess. And, back then when you got two Purple Hearts, they pretty much, you had a choice. They would take you out of the bush. But I had a choice to go to Da Nang to join the MPs. And I said, well, it's just such a short time. It was only a couple of more months that I had to go, for my 13-month tour, that I just went ahead and they had an opening to be for the hotel company post office that took care of the mail, which appeared to be safe at the time, but that was actually a bad choice.
Oh no. They didn't mortar that area, did they?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, when we were in the rear, you always got mortars and the 122 rockets, but the problem is the Marine that was leaving the post, he just brought me into his office, which this picture shows that, he says you get the mail in, the big bags, you dump it out, you get the roster, you go ahead and check the names off, you put it in rubber bands for each company or each squad. And so we got that done. I ran through a couple of days going in the office. So we went out. Hotel 25 was outside the main compound in Anwa. 15 and 35 were inside the main compound where the airstrip was and stuff. So when we rode with the mail on the back of the Jeep inside the main compound, got out on a flight line, they were loading up the CH-46 helicopters with water and ammo and stuff like that. And we pulled right up next to it, and I just took the bag and threw it in the back of the chopper. He says, no. He says, you've got to deliver it out to the field. Well, I turned around to him. We had a little problem there. I says, now, you didn't tell me this. Because, right in a CH-46 is okay, because, that's what carries us out to the field and picks us up. But just carrying it in there and kicking off the water and the sea rations and mail, and first LZ, hot LZ we went in, they popped green smoke. There you got the VC just trying to take you out of the sky with AK-47s and SKSs. So I said, no, I don't think I want to do this. You can send me back out to the field.
Man, I was going to ask you about helicopters. So did you go on Hueys, or did you go in and out of landing zones with the Huey helicopters, or what did they do with the
No, we Marines, we rode in Sikorsky CH-46. The first time I got medevaced in October 5th, 68, they were still using, I call them the bullnose choppers, those CH-34s that they use probably late in Korea. I don't think the thing flew more than about 40 miles an hour at the most.
So, you were there till when? When did you leave Vietnam?
I think September 18th of 69.
You mentioned 13 months.
Yeah, that's the tour, but of course I have to, like I said, I got laid out the first time, October 5th, 68, but I was in Guam under recovery.
But why 13 months? I thought it was a year, but for the Marines?
Well, the Marines is 13 months. They call it 12 and 20.
Have to be different, right?
Yeah, for some reason, yes, 12. They call it 13-month tours, 12 and 20, like the Army was 11 and 20.
Barry, tell me about the camaraderie of the Marine Corps and you guys in combat and around all that.
Yeah, you just covered for each other, and it's a big family, always has been, and I go to a lot of the 1st Marine Division reunions. I've been going to them, but Hotel 25, the company I was in, there have been a couple of reunions, but I've only went to one. They got one coming up this August in Quantico, Virginia. I may go to, but I've been going to the 1st Marine Division Association reunions for quite a many years. But it's just back then, it's just all of us were, except for exception, we're probably 19, 20, 21 years old, and
So how did the Marine Corps in Vietnam change you as a person?
Well, it gave me a lot of discipline, just when you're young, it's something I think they lack today. But, you know, back then, I mean, you pretty much, there were people that didn't want to follow rules in boot camp like there are any, but the DIs back then, and I'm sure now, you know, they'll get your mind right one way or the other. You know, there's no doubt about it. So it's just a lot of discipline.
So boot camp, especially during wartime, was the focus of the DIs is just you guys are going to be in combat someday. You may hate me, but maybe this will save your life someday. Is that kind of the mindset behind all that?
Yeah, I mean, they want you to work together as a team. They want you to understand how to follow orders and the consequences if you do not. You know, there's punishment in boot camp to a limited extent if you don't do what they say. And that's what they're trying to instill in you, you know, to work as a team, and this is what you're going to do, and this is the way it has to be, you know.
Do they train you to hate the enemy, to just, you know what I'm saying, to kill somebody that's attacking you? I mean, is that all instilled in you, or is that just something that...
No, I mean, you know, that's not really what boot camp is about. It's about discipline and being a Marine, but if you have that, it pretty much comes natural once you get into a war zone, whether it was World War II or Korea, Vietnam, or over in Iraq or Afghanistan. You know, because the enemies, you know, every enemy's the difference, but, you know, the way we look at it from my, you know, point of view, they're pretty ruthless in Vietnam. You know, just don't have any use for those kind of people.
But you know you're headed towards a war zone. I mean, you know, that preparation, training, everything like that. So I'm just thinking, you know, that takes a special person, I think. I mean, don't you? I mean, I think about you. I've talked to others that have gone through boot camp, understand boot camp, and just what you're headed for. I mean, you're in a wartime. You're headed for a war zone. You volunteered, and you're there, man.
Yeah. You know, like I said, it kind of hit me when on the trip when I first got in there in Da Nang, where you're in the rear area, but which is not safe, but it hit you when I was taking the convoy down to An Hoa and crossed Phu Loc 6 or Liberty Bridge, when I saw the Viet Cong laying out there. And then it doesn't take too long afterwards to realize after you got into a firefight, or when you just get there, when you see somebody, you know, blown away by a booby trap, that, hey, this isn't good. You know, you know, your life is in danger like every minute. Chances of you, in fact, you know, out of the, if the group of 5 that I talked about is kind of an example, like I said, Larry Wessinger, the one that's in the pictures with the funeral, he's a KIA, and Gary Hornico, who got hit 2 days before me, October 3rd, 68, is 100% disabled, plus some other stuff. And then I was 2 days later wounded, and then again, and one of the other Marines, not sure of his status, and Dennis Hines was pretty much stateside duty. So out of just our small group in Brenham, out of that group, you got 5 of them. You got one KIA, you know, Gary Hornico, 100% disabled, and then, you know, I'm hit twice too. So you got, you know, 3 out of 4 that were in Vietnam that got wounded, and one had stateside duty for most of the time that I know of. So that's, you know, that's the statistics for just our group of 5.
Tell me about coming home. Do you have a homecoming, or did you get some of the horror stories that some of these other vets experienced coming home? Was your homecoming okay?
You know, for the most part, since this is a small town over here, didn't really experience any too much negativity like some of the other ones did in bigger cities, I guess. But it was there. You know, I had, you know, some problems at some of the local functions around here, you know, probably in 70, 71, I guess.
Tell me what,
just comments that didn't sit right.
There's a whole story there with that, with the Vietnam vets. But tell me what freedom means to you. You served your country. We live in a free country. What does freedom mean to you, Barry?
Freedom is pretty much, you know, what we want to do. If, you know, anything that you can do that's, you know, obviously legal, that it's people, you know, living in communist countries or countries over in the East that don't have, that the government, you know, pretty much is taking everything away. And the freedom with, you know, everything you have with the liberties with, you know, movies, you know, that you can watch, and just television programs, and going to eat or going to travel where you want to without any restrictions, or, you know, just move around, just be free without, you know, without any restrictions.
Tell me what the American flag means and represents to you as a veteran.
Just what we fight for everything, for the freedom of the country, to allow the people to do what they can, you know.
You proud to be a Vietnam veteran?
Yeah.
People have thanked you for your service over the years?
Yeah, it's actually, I'd say in the last, kind of hard to put a number on it, you know, 5 to 10 years, it's gotten quite a bit better. And pretty much, you know, being a Marine, I got stickers on every vehicle I own, you know, clipboards, anything I can put a sticker on, you know, stickers on our trucks and stuff. And I've, since I travel quite a bit, and I've even had people leave notes under the windshield wiper or stick it in the door, you know, saying thank you. And that's I've had that happen about probably 2 or 3 times over the last 4 years. You know.
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yeah, got to have those bumper stickers.
You're one of the younger Vietnam vets.
I'm sure.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
you're getting up there now too, so
Yeah.
60 years
Yeah,
old. So.
yeah, some of them, yeah, we got some of them that are probably 66.
You were like 18 years old in 68 then.
Yeah,
I'm not real good at math, but
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
doing my math in my head right now. But, you know, like at the school this morning, you know, there's 1,500 kids there. You know, 15, 16, 17 years old. I mean, just about the age you were, man.
That's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, at that age, that mindset, doing what you did, but... So you came home and went on with your life?
Yeah, pretty. I just came back and held a job, and you know, pretty much been in the same trade for the last pretty close to 40 years.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Great. That's good to hear. I'm going to ask you to do one more thing at the end of my interviews. I hope you're okay with this. I understand the protocol of a salute, but at the end of my films, I have the veterans salute into the camera. Can you do that for me when I ask you?
Yeah.
Where you're seated right there? Go ahead, right into the camera, Barry.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Good, thank you.